Greetings, friends. Welcome to today's devotional. It is Psalm 55, a little bit on the long side. Give ear to my prayer, O God. Do not hide yourself from my supplication. Attend to me and answer me. I am troubled in my complaint. I am distraught by the noise of the enemy, because of the clamor of the wicked, for they bring trouble upon me, and in anger they cherish enmity against me. My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death have fallen upon me. Fear and trembling come upon me, and horror overwhelms me. And I say, oh, that I had wings like a dove. I would fly away and be at rest. Truly, I would flee far away. I would lodge in the wilderness. I would hurry to find a shelter for myself from the raging wind and tempest. Confuse, O Lord, confound their speech, for I see violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go around it, on its walls, and iniquity and trouble are within it. Ruin is in its midst. Oppression and fraud do not despair or depart from the marketplace. It is not enemies who taunt me. I could bear that. It is not adversaries who deal insolently with me. I could hide from them, but it is you, my equal, my companion, my familiar friend, with whom I kept pleasant company. We walked in the house of God with the throng. Let death come upon them. Let them go down alive to Sheol. For evil is in their homes and in their hearts. But I call upon God, and the Lord will save me. Evening and morning and at noon I utter my complaint and moan, and he will hear my voice. He will redeem me unharmed from the battle that I wage. For many are arrayed against me. God, who is enthroned from of old, will hear and will humble them, because they do not change and do not fear God. My companion laid hands on a friend and violated a covenant within me. With speech smoother than butter, but with a heart set on war, with words that were softer than oil, but in fact were drawn swords. Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. But you, O God, will cast them down into the lowest pit. The bloodthirsty and the treacherous shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in you. So this psalm, attributed again to David, is a psalm again of lament and complaint against an enemy that has done treachery to David, to the psalmist. But in this instance, what makes this one a little bit different is he makes note of the fact that it's somebody who is a close friend of his, a companion, someone that he trusted, and someone that he had built a strong bond with. The story is recorded in Scripture, but that would be going off on a rabbit trail. But he has felt the bitter sting of betrayal from somebody who is close to him. He said if it was just an enemy, someone he didn't care about, he could deal with that. He could tolerate that. He could just ignore them and it would go away. But because it was someone that he built a strong bond with, he feels even more betrayed. And that's probably happened to you or all of us at some point in our lives. We build friendships with people. We build bonds, and over years we build up trust with them, and at some point, human nature being what it is, those people may turn on us and betray us in some way. They may betray us for their own gain. They may betray us out of bitterness or spite or jealousy or whatever it might be. And if that happens often enough, or it happens deeply enough that it affects us and impacts us in a really powerful way, then it can certainly lead to us trying to avoid ever being close to people, kind of becoming somewhat of a loner or a hermit. And though that does help us to avoid the pain that comes with betrayal and loved ones or people we're close to, friends we're close to, turning on us and hurting us deeply, it's not how we were hardwired by God to live our lives. We are hardwired to live in harmony and in unity and in relationships with others as well as with God. And so as hard as that might be, to start a new friendship and to be cynical about how people really are is really going to be doing more damage over the long term than it does the short-term damage we might feel from one person betraying us. And then think about the other relationships you have with the people that haven't done that to you, and how life-giving they can be for us, and how uplifting they can be, and how important and vital they can be to our own life. Because going through life alone without sharing how we're feeling with others or with people that we're close to is almost impossible. Doing this world by ourselves can be very, very difficult. But on the other hand, what David makes note of as well in this psalm, and we've heard over and over again in the Psalms, is that we can always count on God. We can always trust him, and we can always open our hearts to him, because God will always be faithful, never betray us, and never forsake us, and never do us any harm. And we can always be open and be ourselves with God. And that's really who we should focus, a great deal of our attention to, in building that relationship with him, even though we don't get necessarily the day-to-day feedback from God and connection from God. It is always still there. It's not to say we should ignore humans and just be friends with God, but it's a combination of those things. And when our hearts have been broken, God's heart is broken with us, and he is there to help us heal. And in time, that healing does come, even if there's not forgiveness. So that's our devotion for today. Tomorrow we have Psalm 56. Until then, be safe and be well.